Leave me alone. I didn't promise to marry you. I don't know whose child it is, so you go away, and I'll go back to my place," Victor said to the bewildered Sarah. She stood there unable to believe her eyes. Was this the same Victor who had confessed his love and carried her in his arms? Was this the same Victor who had promised her the moon on the plate? Now, before her stood a slightly confused and therefore angry stranger. Sarah cried for a week and bid farewell to Victor forever. Due to her age, she was already 35, and her perceived unattractiveness, which lowered her chances of finding happiness, she decided to have the baby. Sarah gave birth to a screaming girl in due time and named her Wendy, but the girl grew up calm and didn't give her mother any trouble, as if she knew that shouting or not, nothing would change. Sarah didn't mistreat her daughter, but it was obvious she lacked genuine maternal love. She fed her daughter, dressed her, bought her toys, but hugging her, loving her, taking her for walks, no, she didn't do that. Little Wendy often reached out to her mother, but she dismissed her. She was busy. She had a lot to do. She was tired. She had a headache. Her maternal instinct never seemed to awaken. When Wendy was 7, something unprecedented happened. Sarah met a man. Not only that, she brought him home. The whole village gossiped. "Oh, what a frivolous woman Sarah is. She brought home some strange man into her house. He's not from around here, has no steady job, lives in the middle of nowhere. Maybe he's a swindler." Sarah worked in the local grocery store, and he was contracted to unload delivery trucks. Their professional paths crossed, they had an affair, and soon Sarah invited her new fiancé to live with her. All the neighbours condemned her. She brought home an unknown person without thinking about her daughter, they chattered. "And he's so quiet, you can't get a word out of him. He must be hiding something." But Sarah didn't listen to anyone, as if she realised this was her last chance at happiness. Soon, however, the neighbours' opinion of this seemingly taciturn man changed. Sarah's house had long needed repairs. So Gordon, that was the man's name, first fixed the porch, then the roof, and finally the fallen fence. Every day he repaired something, and the house visibly improved. When people saw that the man was handy, they began to ask for help. He said, "If you're old or poor, I won't take any money, but if not, pay." They paid with goods. He took money from some, canned food, meat, eggs, and milk from others. In short, Gordon had golden hands, as they say. He's a jack of all trades. And Sarah, who had never been a beauty, was transformed with him. She glowed all over, softened. She even became more affectionate with Wendy, smiling, revealing dimples on her cheeks. That's how it is. One day, Wendy sat on the porch, watching Uncle Gordon work. Everything he touched seemed to improve. Then she went to her friend's house next door and came back only in the evening after playing. When she opened the gate, the girl was stunned. In the middle of the yard stood a swing set. It swayed slightly in the breeze, beckoning her. "Is it for me? Did you make the swing for me?" Wendy couldn't believe her eyes. "For you, Wendy, of course for you. What do you think?" laughed the usually reserved Gordon joyfully. And Wendy sat on the seat, rocking back and forth, the wind whistling in her ears. There was no happier girl in the whole world. Sarah went to work early, so Gordon also took over the cooking. He cooked breakfast, lunch, and what pies and casseroles he baked. It was he who taught Wendy how to cook and set tables. So many talents appeared in this unsociable, silent man. When winter came and the day became short, Gordon saw Wendy off and met her from school. He carried her briefcase and told stories from his life. And he took care of his seriously ill mother, sold his apartment to help her, and how his own brother kicked him out of his father's house by deceit. He taught Wendy how to fish. In the summer at dawn, They would go down to the river and sit quietly, waiting for a nibble. That's how he taught her patience. And in the middle of the summer, Gordon bought her first children's bicycle and taught her to ride it. He treated her knees with peroxide when she smashed them falling off. "Gordon, the girl will hurt herself terribly," grumbled her mother. "She won't. She must learn to fall and get up again," Gordon answered her firmly. And once on Christmas, he bought children's skates for Wendy. In the evening they sat at the festive table, which Gordon had set with Wendy's help. They congratulated each other, laughed, clinked glasses. It was delicious and fun for everyone. And in the morning, Sarah and Gordon woke up to Wendy's shrill scream and squeal. "Skates! Hurrah! I now have real skates! White, new ones! Thank you!" shouted Wendy, having found under the tree a gorgeous gift. The girl clutched them to her chest, and tears of happiness ran down her face. And then she and Gordon went to the frozen river and cleared the snow from the ice for a long time. She helped him. Then he taught her to skate. She fell, but he patiently led her by the hand until she learned to stand firmly on her feet. Wendy cheered and squealed with happiness, and when they were leaving the river, she threw herself on his neck. "Thank you for everything. Thank you, Daddy." Now Gordon was crying with joy. He furtively wiped away the stingy male tears so that Wendy wouldn't see them, but they rolled away by themselves and immediately froze into small ice flakes in the frosty air. Then Wendy grew up, went to study in the city, and she had many difficulties in her life, as probably everyone does. But he was always there for her. He was at her graduation. He took her to the city with bags of groceries, so that, God forbid, his daughter, his Wendy, did not starve. He led her to the wedding when Wendy got married. Together with her husband, he was at the waiting room in the maternity hospital, waiting for news. He nursed his grandchildren and loved them, as he sometimes doesn't love his own family. And then he passed away. At the farewell, Wendy stood with her mother in deep sorrow, and throwing a handful of earth, sighing heavily, said, "Goodbye, Daddy. You are the best father in the world. I will always remember you." And he remained in her heart forever, not as Gordon, not as a stepfather, but as a father. After all, a father is sometimes not the one who gave birth, but the one who raised you, who shared your pain and joy, who was there for you.